I've been thinking a lot lately about videos, what I'm gonna do with all that garbage on the main channel, and kind of wrestling with myself, thinking, well, people to be able to see um, work. I want them to be able to, when I'm good, I came from this place, and you know, you can see from. Every time videos, I'm incredibly ashamed of myself, just stupid I was, and how I did things, and how I kind and cried, and just all kinds of the sheer amount of, fakeness and, you know, just no talent and terrible everything. The style of reviews that I was doing gotten one out of date. Um, as they were easy to do and that awful, that low effort trash. And I hate reviewers. I hate reviewer culture, but um, interact much with the gaming community anymore because I just really, really hate that side. I'm proud, and I was part of shamed to have been part of. I'm doing this podcast is I've been in a lot of distress on what my future is going to be. You have to think about when it's the coming of age. It's the when you're gonna do, and that scares me. The prospect of thinking about that scares me. Um, but I'll get to that. I want to talk about the YouTube crap for a second. I guess supposedly ties into the other thing anyway. I'm privatizing the old videos. A lot of the update garbage. I did way too many updates back in the day. I say back in the day, but this was ago to a year ago, and I feel like it was a century by how much I've changed. I guess that's how it is when you're a younger guy, but um, anyway, yeah. I'm going to be privatizing that crap because I hate it and I want to punch myself in the face every time I look at it. But here's the thing. I'm going to be having playlists where you can find those. So if you want to see, you can. You just have to do the digging. And I attribute this idea to going through some of my favorite channels' work. You find their older like blogs and stuff, or older privatized videos through playlists, and you get a sense of what it's still out there for you to consume. It's still out there for you to be motivated, like, wow, this great person used to do this at one point. It's out there, you can find it, but it's just not readily available for you have to look for it. The core audience has to find it, the people who are inspired by me, I guess. I don't expect anybody to be inspired by me anytime, not for the next like 10, 7 years or whatever, because it takes time to get good at this. But so I will want it to be up. I just don't want it like that. And the idea of trying to figure which videos privatized, it can be kind of, because I think, well, this video has been getting me an AdSense, and, do I really be trained from going? And then I think, make new videos that'll get tons and tons of AdSense, do even better, because they'll be better videos. And, there's something kind of about letting these old things go, because these were things that I put some amount of work into. Things that I was incredibly proud of at the time of making them, but the more I look at them, the more sad that I made these things, that it was me who put this track at, you know, and who actually thought it was okay at one point. That's unacceptable. That's not right, you know. So, disgusted I become with. There's also another side of me that becomes nostalgic about it, that remembers that making it. It's it's quite an interesting dichotomy, because part of me really wants that to stay tangible to everyone. Then the other part just blistering hatred for it, And it's hard to, I guess. But I have a feeling I'm just going to privatize a lot of that. Certain discussion videos I'm going to leave up, you know. Maybe certain reviews, Atari ones, I think I'm going to leave, just because I actually was, as reviews, like viewer culture, but I think threw them together out of passion. They're, just the more scripted things I really want to get rid of, because my scripting wasn't good back then. It's gotten better, certainly not good now. I'm trying to, but those Atari reviews are actually, I think, so I probably leave them up. I'd just get rid of all the update videos. You can find them if you want still, certain discussion stuff, I'm sure so yeah. And a lot of the limiting factors that I had at the time, I will say, a lot of it had to do with just me being new, not understanding things, not having a wide range of content that I've seen to be inspired by, having awful equipment. I was running a Windows error, using a Rock Band mic, using this terrible free editing software. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess trying to make a video, but I did it anyway. I didn't get the same enjoyment out of it that I do now. Writing a script, it felt soulless because it was. Reviews are soulless trash, are not fun. It's just me staying instead of actually trying to realize something meaningful about the work. Oh, God. The more I think about it, the more I'm enraged by the prospect that at one point I enjoyed the culture, And it wasn't until I found other kinds of in-depth content I realized that reviews are pretty bad. And I always kind of knew that reviews were a lesser version of content. But you know what I thought? I thought it was because it was on. I was a big fan of the AVGN, of course, I still am. John Tron, and I love their content, but I thought they were an exception to the rule. I thought Classic Game Room would be churning the same video every single time, and that's just how it is. Um, it was really insane, you know, and there were certain smaller reviewers that were doing the CGR style that I thought, well, same video every day with the same low quality, people coming back and stroking their ego, this is how it is. This is how it's gotta be, right? And I did the mob mentality and made the same Patreon video that everybody else was doing with effort or thought put in with the same crappy opinions that everyone seemed to be spewing. I was a people pleaser. Just the more I think a lot of it the person I was at the time. A a very awkward antisocial kid. Well, I still am at that point. Very awkward. Wanted friends with somebody. Would lie all the time. I was a big liar, you know, and it made me really sad. I will admit that lie all the time back then, but it made me incredibly sad. I put a lot of emphasis on trying to be honest. That's what makes me happy, right? So I would lie all the time. I would try to be a people pleaser, try to be this fake person. Videos do with that. There was zero creative effort. Um, None of my own self shined with some of the discussion videos it did. There was a lot of honesty in some of those and some heart in some of those, but most of it, the majority is pandering crap. And I acted as if, oh, it's not, going against what YouTube wants. I'm not doing this actual good high quality content. No, I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to be a punk, and I'm going to make the same video as all these other reviewers. Man, I'm so rebellious. Don't you all like me? No, it's trash. Yeah. I guess part of growing up is you realize your past failures, right? You realize how cringeworthy and just how awful you were at one point. And I've been to do where I've came from. Because here's the thing, lately I've been really putting a lot of pressure on myself to change. I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to be a better person. Yet, I get um muscled up in the grass. It I keep on stop to look back, but when I do, I realize how far I've really came. The trashy, cringe-worthy kid doing these pleb twos. Um, before that, back when I was in fifth grade, I'm not even going to go into detail about that. I was an awful kid at that point. And in my journal about this, I really have shot. Um, and I don't seem to sit back and process that because I'm always to get to the next thing because there are a lot of things that I haven't changed yet. There are a lot of things that I need to change, and there are a lot of things I want to improve on. But stand back and look, I realize how much I really have changed, and that inspires me. Well, um, there is meaning in this because from all this time I have. So if I get a lot better, right? I just have to keep that same summer. I understand what's going on, and keep trying to be my own worst critic and just critique everything I do until I get it absolute. And I want to see where things go. But yeah, it's weird. Self-reflection I've been having lately about just how awful I used to be, just how outstandingly used to be. These old comments of all these people just really kissing up to my content, trying to be encouraged, and it's sad. It's not their fault. I'm not saying that they're sad for enjoying it. I'm saying that I'm sad at that time to have been putting up such mediocre pleb tier content, and have be subjected to, just the vile absurdity, the mediocrity of that content, you know? And yes, I'm going to privatize a lot of it. But here's the thing, here's the kicker. I'm going to work as hard as I can. No BS. No BS. None of that, oh, I don't want to do it. I can't do it tomorrow. Just working all the time to make the best now, to build a future can eventually make better content. To make content I care about, to make content I can enjoy, to make content that resonates with people, not this pandering, half-assed crap. Go. And I'm trying to plan this out. I'm trying to figure out, well, I've been looking at all have inspired me a lot lately. And you see what they do. They got multiple accounts, like things like DeviantArt blogs, multiple channels, and it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring to see that level of effort and just the sheer amount of stuff, that sheer amount of prolific stuff. That doesn't make any sense. Just to see how prolific they are is pretty inspiring, I gotta say. So, um, uh, after seeing that, I've realized, I gotta put more effort on it, no matter how much certain things that I write for video. I've realized not it all as bad as those old things, right? So if I just keep on going, then it'll be better than what I'm doing. Then eventually I can sit here and say, well, this isn't very good, but it's before. Till eventually I'm finally happy with what I'm doing. You just gotta do it publicly and then regret it later. That's some of the best advice I've ever heard. Write all the time, make things all the time, publish it all, regret it later. That's where I'm going. Where I'm going is just putting a ton into making things and to having this wide, prolific library of great things that you can consume. A Let's Play every day, vlogs every day, and written content every week. If I can do podcast every week, I'll be gold. I'll be really, really happy. I'll be so happy with myself, more happy than I've probably been in the past 5 years. If I could just get a podcast and a written video out every week, I'd be, you know, that's really, really what I want. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, writing a video, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. It's funny, you see people like Mark from Classic Game Room sitting here going, "Oh, my content is so hard to make," when he could easily do 2 of those videos a day and still have a full-time job. You know, it's pathetic. It's pathetic what he does. I'm fine if his on Patreon want to support him. It's how they spend their money. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you can't spend your money. You can spend your money too. It's your money. I shouldn't dictate that if I was a egotistical twat, and I'm not trying to do that. That's not who I am. So, um, yeah, I got on a tangent there, but yeah, that's really what I want. I want a podcast a week and a written video, a vlog every day, and a let's play every day. That would. Oh yeah, and a blog post a day. If I could get that amount of just creativity all the time, I'd be incredibly happy because I love making things. It's just I'm so of what I do that it makes me really, really mad when I'm in the end of writing a video and I just gotta freaking power through because I know it's just that it's not good enough. Um, and I know only I can see this because if I released some of the written videos I have written out, my audience would say it was great. My audience would be incredibly impressed, but I'm not. That's the thing. Only I can live up to my own creative vision, but it seems like my audience just wouldn't be able to understand the difference. That that both bothers me, but it also makes me realize of a number one, I guess. Uh, Sometimes I don't. I just sit here and am amazed by how vapid the YouTube audience can be. Not really my audience, just YouTube in general, because I put some, like, strength into powering through a project only to really really hate it, and if I released it, it seems like so many people would love it and not even realize. That bothers me. It really really bothers me that people seem to understand the problems with my old videos, that understand the problems with reviewer culture and reviews in general. um One of my main mottos is that you can think what you want to because everything is subjective. Everything is filtered through your perspective. It's filtered through your upbringing, how you see the world, But you can't understand the appeal of something, or if you can't understand somebody else's perspective, well, you're just a narrow-minded idiot. You have to understand what the other person is thinking. Even if you had opinion or that thought incredibly stupid or illogical, you're better because you understand it now. You have to try and just be respect some level, try to understand it, or else you're gonna be like an idiot. And that bothers me. Um, you can hate Evangelion all you want, but if you don't understand how we got a problem, I guess. I don't know. Or if I can't understand why the person doesn't like it, I got a problem with me. And I have a lot of problems with my own work. And I'm trying to reconcile. I see the problem, and then I take something from that. I see that, well, I messed this up and I'm not going to do it next time. That's how you get better. Sometimes you make the same mistake again, but through the sheer amount of it, it'll be gone. You know, you got to find that voice. You got to find that voice. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, going to be privatizing old videos. Going to be trying to get tons and tons of like podcast, vlog content, LPs, and written content out. I just want tons and tons of stuff. Um, I really don't know what I'm doing with my music. Like, I don't have a guitar or anything, so I can't really practice the guitar or learning the guitar. My rapping isn't very good. My writing raps isn't very good. And with all this emphasis on wanting to do more content, it's hard to find time to work on drawing or working on or writing songs or poems. So I got to figure that out. I'll look back at this video or whatever, and I'll just do it. I don't care how much amount of having to push, or even if I start hating this for some odd reason in the middle of working. You just got to push through, do it. And because of that, you'll feel better after. You'll feel great. And so many times writing something, like I'll feel amazing. I'll feel like I'm on top of the world in the middle of writing it. But as soon as I read it, I feel bad and I feel like I write this. And when I'm trying to revise it, it's like I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like I'm in a minefield, just tiptoeing over through mine. It's insane. Um, uh, yeah, just a big, um, I don't know. But I spend so much consuming like 4 hour day podcasts every single day, just all the time. It's hard to keep up with all of it, let alone me keeping up with the PCP, because I listen to the Procrast once a week. I listen to the decompression chain. Freaking Digi puts up like a 1 hour vlog every single day. We got like a 30-minute Let's Play every day. It's hard to keep up with all this stuff. Not to almost one new analysis from him a week. Then you got, all the endless jazz stuff that's always coming out. The blue, and then Mumkey, he's just like insane to keep up with. I can't even keep up with like Ben Saint because he does like these 2 hour Nuzlocks just all the time. It's insane. Um, Keeping up with all of this constant YouTube, it's like really, really crazy because a lot of my favorite channels seem to upload every day on one of their accounts. Seem to get every single day. Just these 2 hour long things. And I've been known to sit through like a 5 hour vlog, just kind of, feeling good. Not at all the viewing habits I used to have for YouTube. Kind of have trouble watching a 10-minute video. But that was because I was watching Classic Game Room at the time, and Classic Game Ring and all of his videos are exactly the same, and they're all pretty bad. They're all pretty bad, I gotta say. His older ones are pretty good. I like the old Classic Game Room videos because that's what got me into YouTube in general. That's what they have this certain charm about them, especially the ones from like 2000 and 1999. Mark was much less of a shill back then. He, instead of getting a sponsorship, he made a review, and that game room, that's pretty much why the game room got canceled, was because they didn't get the sponsorship from Nintendo, but they just had fun with the review, like GoldenEye or whatever. It was the perfect dark one, and it was a funny video. And now he's such a shill. He's gotten rid of most of his creative integrity. If you want to have a Patreon, Mark is one of the ways in Patreon, I think. Because he's just that awful. But yeah. So yeah, Patreon brings me into Patreon. I want to talk about this. I recently made my own Patreon account that I could patron my written/edited content. And it looks really good. Very proud of how good that Patreon looks. Not sure if I'll link it in this description. You can find watching this. You can find it on one of my channels. It's on. It's linked, so you can find it and you can look at it. But it looks really good. And the way I'm planning this out is pull a digibro on people, and I want what he does with his videos. He posts and he posts like one every day, right? He does constant between the Weebcast, the pub crawl, you know, procrastinators, where it's just all the time, all content that he loves making, right? So also does one every week and a half of these videos that are really high quality, great. He does and his Patreon works as $1, $3, or $5. You can set a cap on it that later. So he does this pick video, and one of the things people in is that they love him on such a deep level that they're willing to give him money. They're willing to give it to him. Videos have such a huge amount of effort put into them. And the reason why, I initially had one was because he puts out constant vlogs, constant LPs, and constant pods, filling up so, and he interacts with his fans so much. So I thought, well, how about I just take this formula of being incredibly honest with people, like I like to do, and putting out all this extra in addition to incredibly high quality regular content. That's a great idea, and it makes you more. I plan to do this as a to when I get into the future BS, but if I just kind of modeled my Patreon based off of that, which I did, the per video model and the model of having great rewards like exclusive content, which I talked about this in my further discussing Patreon video, why my views changed on exclusive content, but you can watch that. So it like, well, you get extra vlogs and extra LPs and stuff at this tier, which after Endless Jess's Patreon, where he just does exclusive blog posts and stuff. I modeled it after that, and commentaries as well, like he does, like Digi does. So I modeled it after this honesty and all this extra content. Most of it being for free, of course. I think this idea works well. Once I get to that level that my fans, that they actually care about what I'm doing enough to where they'd give me money. It's pretty cool that idea, and you get all these $1 people pledging per. and you do a video a week, that's going to add up. It's definitely going to add up. And sooner or later, my ways into getting this as a job would be much more understood, or much quicker, I guess. And that's cool. So I got the Patreon all set up, plans for new videos. I got all these ideas. And what I got to do is I just got to power through and hard, because I care about videos. I care about doing this. I love doing this. So I got to work as hard as I possibly can, put as much effort into it. One of my ideas that I had was to like edit up for other people, like get jobs editing other people's videos, because I actually have became much more fond of editing now that I understand, so not confusing anymore. I finally became so fond of it that I really want to start editing for other people. And whenever I can, that would be pretty cool. I definitely love to edit other people's videos and get paid. Similar to what the Devu does, he just gets paid full time to edit Digi's videos. Um, I would want to take like a more freelance approach, $50 here from this guy, $50 here from this guy, just to get for my own work. Um, and if I repertoire of like, hey, shout out this doing stuff on Steam, getting money plus shout outs from enough channels, I get that channel where I could just part time or whatever to edit their videos. Um, when I get to that level, that would be pretty awesome. And I'm pretty sure I could, edit for other people full time and also make my own content. Um, and it's cool. It's money for everybody. Money raining. Money for days. That would be pretty cool. I really express this that I really, really want to do YouTube as a job. You know, it's one of those things where if I stopped YouTube, I stopped writing altogether, if I stopped recording podcasts, whatever, just all of it, if all the creativity just, I really could. I couldn't imagine myself alive. I really couldn't. I couldn't imagine what I'd be doing. Some old dumb job like everybody else. I'd probably hate it. I'd really, really hate it. I wouldn't be happy. I couldn't imagine a world without my art. And I think that says something about my character, I guess. I don't know. But the important thing to me right now is building up a repertoire that are actually good, privatizing, getting experience, and just getting to a level where I can do this all the ideas all the time. You know, I don't have as much talent as other people. I need that time in, and I'm fine with that. I just need to put more every day. Easier, but you got to do it every day, and that's the hard part. That's one of my favorite lines from BoJack Horseman. Man, I cannot wait for season 4 of that show, because that oh my god, that ending on season 3 when spoilers, when BoJack is about to like kill himself or whatever, when he's like letting go of the car and he sees all the horses just running and running and being happy in spite of that, was powerful. I cried and I cried, and that that show is just, it's so great. I love BoJack Horseman. Oh man. Oh, that is a tangent in itself. Well, another one of my absolute favorite scenes was when I always see that one gorilla guy just running up by the side or his mansion, whatever. He's always running up the road, and when BoJack is trying to himself, and he falls down, and the guy who's on the same hill, he tells him it's easier. Um, the more you do it every day, it gets easier. Do it every day. That's the hard part. Favorite lines in the show ever. Best lines. That show is so amazing emotion through visuals. Oh my God, that's a huge tangent right there. Just talking about better do a BoJack Horseman once season 4 comes out. That would be epic. Really, really epic because oh my, yeah, I really until summer comes and season. I gotta see what comes next. I am jonesing for it because I watched part of season 1 back when I had my Netflix trial. Then I ran out. Still had some season 1 to go, so I was like, well, Kiss Cartoon is there. In just a few days, I marathon the entire show, and my mind was absolutely blown. Manly tears were shed. Lots of just existential thought was expressed. I even tried to write a video. That is somewhere in my notebook. I gotta read. Um, I just wrote down my thoughts while the emotions, like I do. And now, since the emotions are still kind of kicking, my passion's still kicking. If I the script on it long enough, who knows? Video. The problem is just that BoJack Horseman has been so much analyzed by now. It's been so much reviewed. Everyone's talked about it. The question is, what can I add to conversation? Because Wisecrack did an amazing video about the philosophy of BoJack Horseman. And that was a spot-on video, just analyzing a lot of the more in that show. There's a lot of meta humor in it. A lot of meta humor. One of the great things about that show is because there's so much like men like little jokes that you wouldn't get unless you knew about certain philosophical ideas or certain like quirks that the writers had. So much, and it's so amazing. It's given amazing package. Oh my gosh, I love that show. It's my favorite show of all time, besides Breaking Bad. That that is a feat there, my friend. And the funny thing is, Paul in them, um, is Breaking Bad is obviously show 10 out of 10. Um, and I don't out of 10 for me. Do not take that as something I'd give out all the time because it's obviously not. Most things I give are a 7 or a light 8. But yeah, Breaking Bad is just that show is amazing. In fact, I got to rewatch it because that is a ride. That is a ride. Um, and it was my number one favorite show of all time until I saw BoJack and just blew my mind. More bad did. So I don't know. The power of today's television. Television is only getting better, even though it's on the way out. It's a Netflix series, so it's new media. Never mind. Can't wait for more Netflix shows. Netflix is doing great. That's an entirely separate podcast on its own. Again, this to the brim with random stuff. Okay, so the future. This isn't part of something I want to dwell on too much. When I started up this stream, when I started up this recording, I was thinking, what am I gonna do in my but I wanted to leave that for last because it's kind of a thing that I was just kind of feeling sad about. And now here's now that I've gotten into such detail about the videos that I want to come up or the videos that I've been working on, like, and it's made me so happy doing this podcast. It's like I don't even want to dwell on that, like, kind of future that I had for, like, oh, well, what am I gonna do when I grow? My success doesn't happen. It's like I'm not even feeling that anymore. You know, um, it's like it's still kind of feeling it. I'm just sad about it or anything like that because doing a pod gets me into the mood of like just feeling great. It makes me to express myself. Expressing myself, it feels nice. Makes me feel pretty nice on the inside of my pants. So time to get down to the nitty gritty. I've been thinking, what am I gonna do? Here's my plan, but I just am confused as to how tangible it is. So what my plan is to do, I want to do YouTubing as a job, of course, just nothing but and right off the back of my YouTube success to start publishing more albums type thing, I guess, and to get at Cartoon Network to pitch my own cartoon series to my own cartoon. By that to have already had like some kind of web comic or have a web comic out, have different like comics to pitch my and get it on Cartoon Network, or if Cartoon Network at that time, pitch my own cartoon thing and become an intern there and and really make my own thing. That's what I want in addition to all this YouTubing crap. Because I am doing YouTube 24/7. I really am. And so that's pretty great. It's obviously pretty great. That's my plan. You know, getting YouTube success soon, pretty cool. That being successful on YouTube isn't possible because it is. It's only not a gaming channel, right? With most gaming channels, it's hard to get any level unless you have incredibly good SEO and get incredible channels. Game analysis, that'll get you like a few thousand subscribers. But if you're doing standard or quality content, no. You're not even going to get numbers unless you ride off the backs channels like I did, you know. So I'm going to start branching into cartoons and anime. Those are two markets that I'm incredibly passionate about, but are also not tapped into enough. Good enough thumbnails, good enough SEO. If you are high quality enough, you can in those markets. It may take a little bit of networking, but networking is important anyway. So I could easily, in about 5 years, whatever, if I'm making high quality enough videos, good enough videos, in the slash SpongeBob slash anime slash pony community, whatever, if I level, and I'm still gonna be doing gaming videos, by the way, which are gonna be kind of garnering their own thing. But if I can get to that level, 30,000. Let's say I get to 30,000 subscribers. Um, and I'm doing all this extra vlogs and all these extra streams and podcasts and let's plays and stuff in addition to the regular written content. And I'm doing each post for the written videos. It's just per week, and the people are passionate enough as a career based on Patreon. If I get enough of that money, and we'll see how it goes. You know, I might just have to really get it down to the wire on what I patron out, you know, and I really want with video styles and with writing styles. Influence I've been having lately is Mr. Endless. He did like a 10-minute video incredibly well out just the first 15 minutes of the new find. And it was one of the most inspiring and best things I've ever seen. Not a review, great series. And I want to do something like that for myself. Or cartoons or whatever. So, last bit of personal stuff in my life. Currently, I don't have a door, but I've found ways to do recording at night, recording when people are out of the house to kind of get away from that other problem. School. I have to do lots and lots. I hate school. Here's the thing. What I'm gonna do. I'm talking really, and this laptop is running down. So here's what I'm gonna do. I have a lot of days of school I need to do. I'm just going to expunge a few months, get all of the school the entire year, and then just have it all done in my head so I won't have to worry about it because I do school on the computer way ahead in my school and only have to brush up on certain things and maybe like a public setting or something all, and that'll give me enough time to work on tons and tons of content, you know, things I actually care. So that'll be great. So what I gotta do is just speed through all that school and actually make sure I learn it, of course. Make sure I learn it and just have cool. It'll all be cool. Because online makes things tons and tons easier to do it on my own schedule and have it done quicker. So I can actually, you know, I'm not gonna probably not gonna go to college if I ask because you know who needs college anyway? Anything that college can just be learned at home. So just learn it all at home if I really need to learn anything. But I'm going into an artistic career. I'm going to work in cartoons. You know, I'm going to work in YouTube videos and constantly change up YouTube videos, make the YouTube videos different every time to keep the same people coming back. So that's my plan. That's a version of my plan, or a long version. I don't know. This laptop is about to run out, so I gotta stop talking.